Oh look, it's everybody's favorite no-name YouTuber who doesn't even exist under the radar of anybody. It's me, back again with another Fallout 76, video, because you gotta milk them views, especially when you're not making any money because you're not even monetized anyways, because you're too small of a channel. God, I love this. Anyway, other than my complete self-sack of sorrow or something, pulling wool out from the eyes and mouth. I'm not exactly sure. But other than just complete depression, we're here to talk about Fallout 76 and the complete disaster that Bethesda is now as a company, and how they're basically lower than EA at this point. Now let me just start off and say that Fallout 76 is actually a pretty fun game. I actually got on with my friends. We went around blasting the United States national anthem, ear raping throughout the Commonwealth and pissing a lot of people off. It was probably the best experience I've had in a while. Probably just saying that for the simple fact that every other game that I have right now is completely boring because I've overplayed them. And this is the only new breath of fresh air that I've gotten in a while of something that I haven't tried before. But even this game doesn't really satisfy that because it's a complete copy and paste of Fallout 4. Minus the fact that, Fallout 4 was actually stable and would run without crashing every 4 seconds and having ghouls attacking you in T-pose. So, actually, that's not true. It was Fallout 4, which wasn't really that good of a game, anyways. But Anyway, so now let's move on to Bethesda. Now that we're done smashing the game, because to be honest, just Bethesda needs to get socked in the mouth for this one, and you just need to cancel your pre-order now and not support Bethesda whenever they do this. So, first off, Bethesda is calling this beta a break it early test. So what they've decided to do is stress test the servers with a lot of people by making it a closed beta, which limits the amount of people and only opening it for certain hours of the day, that it's only US time, so that nobody else in the world really gets a fair shot at playing this. And they want to call this a stress test. It's probably the most legit stress test I've ever heard in my entire life. But other than the stress test itself, they've just implied so many other tactics to trick us into pre-ordering this sack of garbage that honestly isn't even worth $30 that I would pay for this. Because this game is completely broken, it's a cash grab, and Bethesda as a company have stooped lower than EA with their pedo caches. And it's hard to do that. You'd think that nobody would ever beat out EA for that title of just complete scumbag company. But oh no, Bethesda's down there, and they're down deeper than hell. So what they have done is they've released the game around the release date of Red Dead Redemption, so that the people who want to play Red Dead Redemption and have the money to afford to pre-order Fallout 76 because they want to play that too, by the time that they are done playing, Red Dead Redemption 2, the much superior game that is completely better in every single way possible than Fallout 76, by the time they get around to actually trying out the beta for themselves, it's not the beta, it's the full game, and there is no way that they're getting their money back because, oh no, they bought the game, which means they ain't no returning it, especially if you bought it digitally, in which case you're not getting your money back. So before we continue on in this video, go ahead and go cancel those pre-orders so that Bethesda doesn't get too hyped now about stealing players' money and treating them like a sack of puppies and just suffocating them all to death, because that's what they're doing with this game. They are just completely imploring every single way that they can possibly milk us of our money. First of all, the atoms. 100 atoms is $1. You know how much? You know how many atoms it takes to get a pair of pajamas to wear in this game? $6. And in order to get $6 worth of atoms, you have to play around 6 hours of the game. Maybe more. Probably 8 hours of the game. And that's with the beginning start of, you know, how much atoms I've gotten within 8 hours of playing the game. And I'm just trying to crank out the story as fast as I possibly can and get all the challenges done, because this game is completely devoid of NPCs and anything interesting that, you know, something like Fallout 4 would have had. Even though Fallout 4 was also a piece of garbage and was not really following the Fallout franchise, but it still had NPCs, which made the game interesting. But this game is completely devoid of any of that. So, on top of just treating the players like garbage, and then robbing us of our money, they have also decided to shorten the beta times so that less people get in, because it's a closed beta. Those less people get to play for less time because it's a closed beta and they can do whatever they want with the beta. So they're gonna time it to where we only get to play a little bit of the beta at a time, so that by the time that, you know, the game rolls around to coming out, we haven't had much experience with the game at all. And the little bit of experience that I've had has been actually pretty fun, but it's also been really boring and kind of full of assholes, because straight out of the vault, one of my friends started about 3 days late into the beta, and straight out of the vault there's a level 18 sitting there, and he goes and he tries to scam my friend. He tries to trade stim packs for a flare gun. She has never played a Bethesda game before. She doesn't know what a flare gun is. So thankfully I was in the session, you know, with her, and after I found out about, you know, him trying to do this, I went over and killed his ass until he blocked my ass. So the players in this game so far are pretty scummy. However, I mean, I don't blame them, because to be fair, there's a lot of dumbasses coming into the game, and I don't really think that they really, you know, are that intelligent to realize that a flare gun is definitely not worth 2 stim packs. But nevertheless, this game is completely broken, and the people who want to wait for reviews like this one to make sure that they get some constructive criticism of the game before they go ahead and spend $60 that they could spend putting food on the table or getting a better game, Red Redemption 2 cough cough. Instead, they drop their money on this game for the beta because they're keeping the beta progress to carry over into the real game. So that when the real game rolls around, everybody who had the beta now has a complete leg up on the noobs that are coming in. They're in power armor, and they're camping at the lower ranks and the lower areas of the map to just start manhunting players and destroying them and destroying their experiences. Now, I'm not saying all players are like this. I'm just saying you're going to run into quite a few bad apples once the game actually comes out, and they're just going to sit there completely just destroying the newer players and anybody who wants to come into the game when it comes out. So, closed beta, they're not wiping the progress. They don't care. This is a cash grab. You should not pre-order this game. You should never pre-order any game, and you should absolutely not buy Fallout 76 under any circumstances as to not promote or support this in any way. Because if I'm going to be completely honest and speak from the heart here, I'm sick of constantly seeing gamers stepped on by AAA titles like Bethesda Now and EA Always. Just constantly destroying the wallets of innocent gamers and, you know, just completely dragging them down. $60 for a piece of garbage when it comes out that'll only get better later on. So this is just completely terrible. I'm probably gonna get blacklisted like pretty much anybody who decides to, of course, speak out against Bethesda when they're doing this. So, it's good to know that I will never get an email that, obviously tells me that Bethesda wants to steal my cash straight from my wallet again. Pretty happy about that. Hopefully Bethesda does blacklist me, just to prove a point, because I'm sure they will. Even somebody with, like 10 subscribers will get blacklisted by a AAA title and completely shut down of all the criticism because I don't exactly have a voice being this big of a YouTuber. And yeah, I hope that this blows up in Bethesda's face and that this is honestly the downfall of Bethesda games if they're gonna continue doing things like this. Because if they are, I hope that they get it thrown back into their face and that people stop playing their games and stop supporting them when they do this kind of thing. Anyway, thank you. I enjoyed my beta time. But I think I'm gonna keep the game just to, show how broken this game is and to just milk my money just a little bit more, seeing as I'm completely devoid of any personality or will to live. So I'll see you in the next Funny Moments video that consists of Fallout 76 garbage, and I guess I'll see you in another video when I finally manage to get my life straight. Have a nice night, everybody.